Hi, and welcome to the 14th episode of Girlfriends Knitting. It is May 2nd, 2012, and it's Wednesday afternoon. And I have a few things to show you today, so let's jump right in. Oh, I guess I ought to introduce myself. My name is Carolyn, call Shirley on Plurk and Ravelry. If you are joining me for the first time, thank you so much for checking it out. And if you've been watching, I'm so glad that you decided to come back. Let's start with some finished objects. I actually only have one, and it's really not a finished object for this week. It's just something I talked about last week and I didn't get a chance to show you. It's the purple zebra socks. So were knit on a 1.5, US 1.5. They have short cuffs, because they were made for Amy and that's what she likes. They have an afterthought heel. And they were just knit out of a Patton's typical sock yarn. So they wear really well. I can chunk them in the washer and dryer. Not that I typically do, but you can, and it doesn't hurt them at all. So I like knitting them. Amy's enjoying wearing them. I think they came out really great. So yay, there's the first finished object. But don't really have any other finished objects. I've been working on several different things. I've been working on a bunch of projects that have nothing to do with knitting. I actually have recovered some stairs that I use for the bed for the dogs, and I made them all cute and artsy. So that was a lot of fun. I did finish a throw pillow, just some simple things like that. So nothing really knitting related. And I look worn out today. I didn't realize that until I started filming. It's been a very long week, but it's been a very good week. Found out some different things. We'll be changing at work over the summer, so I'll tell y'all more about that when they're actually official. But that's been interesting, getting all those details ironed out. So let's go to a few things that I've actually done. So Amy's nephew, Hunter, when he saw I was knitting more socks, got very upset that I'd knit everybody else's stuff, but not him. And so he asked for some sock shoes. I don't know what that is. I had him explain it. He didn't know how to explain it. But he has this in his mind that he wants sock shoes. He's 16. Well, he's almost 16. So I don't know why he couldn't explain to me what he wanted, but this is what I came up with. Basic Dudes Socks. That's the name of the pattern. Right now I'm completely forgetting who the designer is. You can link to the pattern on Ravelry. But these are the Basic Dudes Socks. He wanted a very short cuff, so I just did a 2-inch ribbing cuff. A worsted weight, so they knit up really fast. I'm using my Chalgu red lace in size US 6. Usually they have it written on here. Yes. 4.0 millimeter. So I'm already starting the second one. As you can tell, I'm magic looping. And this is just some cheap yarn I picked up because I didn't know if he was even going to want these. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on sock yarn and then him say, that's not what a sock shoe is. So it's just some Sensations yarn at Joann's. The Cashmere pattern. And this is what you get. I really like it. I've really struggled with these in that it has a short row toe and heel. And the way the short row toe is worked, I thought was very cool. So I enjoy doing that once I figured out how to do short rows. Lots of Googling and watching YouTube videos before I figured out how to do short rows. But I also think that the heel turned out really cool because it's got the white on one side and the brown on the other. So this is something I started this weekend, and I've already gotten all that progress done. And not been knitting. This has just been at night while I was sitting in front of the TV. So that's going well. I've got my show notes on my iPad down here, and it turned off on me. Don't want to forget something. I've also been working on my own design for a sock. I've been knitting a lot of socks, certainly not as many as many other people, but I just said, I'm going to try. And I had some cheap sock yarn that I thought was really cool for an idea that I had. Once I get them knit, I will show you. Right now I'm calling them the garden basket socks. And I hope they're going to turn out really cool. So I've been working on that. And I've also been working on my Knit Girls Atkins Square Swap, square number 2, with the really cool Hanky Panky Blue yarn from Holiday Yarns. And then I was working on my square. This is the Something Blue square for my friend Jennifer's wedding. Notice there's no lace. That's because, as you saw last week, I had about an inch of lace up here at the top. And then last night I knit another inch of lace and realized on the second inch I was purling back across instead of knitting. The first half was a garter stitch lace pattern. The second inch I transformed it into a stocking knit. But I liked the stocking knit better. So I couldn't just rip back to the garter and then continue on with the garter once I saw what it was going to look like stocking knit, and I liked it so much better. So I ripped out all the lace. But at that point I was frustrated and ready for bed because I had just spent an hour and a half knitting an inch of lace that I had to pull out as well as the other inch. So this shall be restarted later when I get up the patience to do that. Languishing is the Corrine cardigan. I just can't get into it. I really want to knit it. I love the yarn. I think the pattern is neat. I think the way it's written is really well done. It's nothing against any of that. I just am wanting to do more other things, I guess I should say. Specifically, what I'm wanting to do is spin. So let's go to spinning. Let's start off with this lusciousness. This is the Gnome Acres Green Lantern that spun up so thin. And it's been skeined up all week. But it's pretty well balanced. It's also fairly thin. It's just a 2-ply. It's about 303 yards. Pretty much a fingering weight. I haven't done a wraps per inch. There are some bulky spots, but for the most part it's pretty consistent. I'm very happy with it as a beginner. In this light on the computer it looks a lot more blue and gray, but it has a lot of green in it as well. So that is yarn number 1. And of course, when you're 2-plying, there's always just a little bit left over. And there was a little bit left over. Look at my cute little mini skein. So I played with Navajo plying once again. And this time, it did so much better. Can you see that? It, even Navajo plied, is very thin. I don't think it's quite a DK. It's heavy fingering for the most part. So there's my little, probably, I haven't measured it, 20 yards maybe of Navajo plying, but it gave me the confidence that I could do that. And you know that awesome Anzula garden color that I showed last week? That's what went on my my ladybug next. I'm telling you, I have been spinning like it's going out of style. Like I must spin in order to have yarn. I don't. I have plenty of yarn, but that's how I'm spinning. So Navajo plied to keep the colors together. If I get really close, will that look crazy? It is a little fluffy. I don't have the thing handy. I was looking for it earlier. Because I don't remember if this was the BFL or the Corrine. I'm thinking this was the Corrine. It's pretty much worsted weight. Maybe a DK. Again, I haven't done the wraps per inch. And I forgot to measure this one. I just pulled it off and schemed it up. But I'm so happy with my first attempt at Navajo plying. It has made me happy. And I really like the fact that with this, I loved the different colors and I didn't want them to get muddied up with just regular plying. I've been reading about fractal plying and I think I'm going to try that next. Let's see, so that's the Anzula. So I actually am starting the froggymonkey Knitabulls Spin-Along. I ordered the froggymonkey colorway and I got it in today. So this is going to be the next thing on my ladybug. It's a 100% superwash merino, 4 ounces. It's from Gnome Acres, Amanda at Gnome Acres. But I didn't get it when I finished the garden yarn. And I just couldn't sit still. So I pulled out this luscious pink. And it is shettybow.etsy.com. It's the Knotty Ewe. And it's a little bitty tag, so it's hard to see. But she's calling it her 2011 White Zinfandel. And I didn't realize this is something new to me. It's a sweetgrass targy combed top, so another breed. And it's just a lot of luscious pink. And when I was spinning it, it does spin very differently than the merino and stuff that I've been spinning. But it spins, I don't know, it feels like thread. It feels more like thread than yarn. I don't know if that makes sense to you. And because, let me see, do I have something dark I can put it against? So you can see the size. So the little spot of red in there is my leader. So this is the pink. And it came with Gruyere cheese ball, which is a, excuse me, I'm sliding down the bed, which is a sort of a white and almond colored top. And it says, you know, they would go well together, as wine and cheese do. But I haven't figured out yet whether I'm just going to simply ply the pink with the pink or ply it with that Gruyere cheese. I don't know. Any ideas? Any suggestions on that? Okay. What else? Last thing in the knitting and spinning before we go on to fitness. I am very interested in doing something with the group. I've really enjoyed visiting with y'all and talking to y'all on the Rav group board. And if you haven't been over there, please go over there, introduce yourself, let us know who you are, why you're interested in the podcast, what do you like about the podcast, what I could do different. I've lately been asking a lot of questions about motivation, things like that. But I thought it'd be fun to do a knit along or swap. And I'm not sure what I want to do, so I've decided to leave it to y'all. Go to the Rav group, post your ideas for either a knit along or a swap. I love the idea of doing a spin along, but not all of us are spinners, and so I thought it'd be better to not do that just yet. If you like the ideas that are posted in the thread for the summer knit along or swap, whichever your ideas are, click on the love button on the Ravelry group on that post. And next week, I'll see how many ideas we've gotten, see which ones have a lot of love or any love, and we'll go from there and see what we want to do. And I'm figuring like summer swap kind of thing, so start June 1st, end August 30th, that sort of idea. So let's see what we can come up with. Let's have some fun this summer. Relax, enjoy, do something cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of ideas y'all come up with. So that's it for knitting. Let's go on to fitness. And I've got lots of notes here. First of all, I've been trying to walk about 30 minutes in the evenings. I've done that the last 2 days. My friend / assistant has really inspired me. Her and her family are getting ready for a trip to Disney, and so they've been walking as a family every day, and that has really inspired me. Of course, many of you know Jet Girl 1313 and Boutros Babe from the Fiberista Files and Knitting on the Fly. They've been running and walking. You've seen them on Plurk. So they've inspired me as well, so I've gotten back into that. Been trying to do yoga in the morning to wake myself up, stretch out, things like that. And let me see. Joe and Jules, I may be mispronouncing your Ravelry name, had suggested the Couch to 5K. So I asked if anybody was interested, and a few people, Alexa Fergie 18, Non-Toxic Mama, several of these people said they would be interested in doing like a Couch to 5K. So if anybody else is interested, there is a thread on the Ravelry group about trying this out. I am not a runner, but I want to be. I think that would really do a lot of good. Right now I'm still walking. I do try to run a little bit within my walking, but I've tried for week 1 intervals on the Couch to 5K program, and I'm still not quite there yet. So I'm personally building up to the Couch to 5K. But Non-Toxic Mama, who is, I forgot to write down her first name. She actually brought up on the Rab boards the Chubby Jones podcast. And she said that podcast actually has the intervals built in. So you can listen to that podcast and it'll tell you the intervals for each week. So I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I do plan on checking that out. So you might want to check it out and let us know what you think of it as well. So that's what I'm working with in terms of exercise. Join me, please. I need the support. As terms of water, I'm still half and half. I have actually drank water every day this week. For me, that is actually an accomplishment. Normally, I don't ever drink water, but I've had at least 1 cup, usually 2, every single day this week. So maybe I started a little too ambitious with 4. For me. Now, other people could start and say, okay, I need 8 cups of water a day, so that's what I'm going to do. I needed a little bit smaller steps. So I'm going to continue getting the water in, and I've had some excellent suggestions. I know I keep looking down. I'm sorry. I wanted to write the people's names down because I hated that I continued to say, somebody said, I don't remember who. So I wrote names down this week. Sylvia, who is Silver Mole, was the one I had mentioned last week that said set intervals. So you get up and you drink one before each meal, you drink one in lunch, that sort of thing. And that has actually been helping. Alexa said drink water before you drink anything else. So let's say you want to drink your cup of coffee in the morning. Drink a cup of water first. So if you're going to drink a glass of tea at lunch, drink a glass of water first. That is something I've actually been doing. That is really working. Several people recommended using a straw, and Michelle said not only does she use a straw, but she agreed with my sweet tea addiction, and she suggested trying to switch to unsweet tea first and then to water. And now I have managed to switch to not drinking sweet tea at home. I don't make sweet tea at home anymore. But usually that just means I don't drink anything, which is worse, I think. Then I'm really dehydrated. So I'm working on not drinking sweet tea when I go out, because usually that's the drink I order, and I need to stop that. So I'm going to try switching to unsweet when I go out. Then lastly, Mary, who is Artist Maybe, said that she had a cap that she could turn, and it would count how many cups of water she had. So every time she drank, she could turn it on a water bottle. I've got to look up something like that. That sounds so cool. So if anybody knows of anywhere to get one like that, read her post, because I'm not describing it well. And if she knows where she got it and can tell us, that would be great, because I thought that was so cool. So, Mary, where'd you get that? We need to know. So that's what I'm doing with water. So excellent tips. Thank you all so much for your tips. I have been using them and trying them, and they have been working successfully. Hence why I actually got water in all week this week. Now if I can just build that up to the 8 cups I actually need a day, we'll be doing great. Well, that's going to be it for the podcast this week. I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas about a knit along or a swap, and can't wait to get those details sorted out and get that planned. And I look forward to visiting with you on the Ravelry Group. Talk to you later. Bye.